like if we can start from the bottom.
Yeah, sure. Guys. So we're gonna start with number 3, 4, and 5. You can see my screen, right? Already.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah, black screen.
Yeah.
What? Resume.
Go live on YouTube also during these meetings. I don't know.
Sorry?
There's a way to connect Zoom through YouTube, and it goes live on the YouTube also. I'm not sure if we do that or not.
Is it possible?
Yeah,
Like
it's
technically?
possible. We do it in our Node.js group meeting. So we have our YouTube account linked with the Zoom. I don't know how it is, and then all the meeting goes live there, also recorded, and everything is there, stays there. So maybe we can talk about this later.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it would be good to have it. Yeah.
That would be good.
It's working now, by the way. We can see your screen.
Yeah, I shared the wrong screen, of course. So, Jonas, are you here already? Because Jonas kind of gave input for those topics for the generator. Okay, so before Jonas joins, maybe 2 topics. Two topics that are not yet on the not on. Sorry, I'm confused by my tabs because this Zoom toolbar is overlapping. Damn it. Okay, so 2 small tiny announcements before we jump into the agenda items. So we actually Fran made some cleanup recently in the ZenHub setup for AsyncAPI and also the repositories. So just to let you know, there's just now 1 workspace. You're sending links, Fran, or?
No, it's just for people to know where the agenda is.
Okay, thanks. So we have now 1 workspace for AsyncAPI in ZenHub to list all the tickets from all the issues from all the repos. So that's a change. If you contributed before, you probably knew that there were 3 different workspaces.
Yeah.
So there's just 1 place for it. And also, basing on the last meeting we had, I started putting together all my thoughts regarding like how to start contributing to the project. So there's this document in which you can also see a diagram that Robert started some time ago, where you can see all the repos that are associated with the AsyncAPI project. So and it was created, and it's pretty fresh now because also Fran removed a lot of repos that were outdated. So just a heads up for you. So now the organization also is clear. And to get access to this document and also get invites for the meeting, remember that there's this Google group, email group, AsyncAPI users. If you join to it, then you have all those things. So that's if it comes to the announcements. Jonas, are you already there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, awesome. Okay, so let's jump into the agenda, more entertaining topics. So the first one is the discussion started by Jonas on Slack. It's about separating the existing templates from the generator repository. So we now have, after last merge, we can now develop templates separately, like separately from the generator. And the idea is to go forward with it, to use it fully, like maybe take away the code of the templates from the generator, as far as I understood the idea, and develop them separately. Any thoughts on that? Or Jonas, would you like to add something more?
I would like to
No.
add something here. So I think the idea behind it is that we're trying to make it easy for people to create new templates and reuse templates, right? Because we cannot create all of them ourselves. That would be crazy and stupid. So we're opening the generator to work with remote, let's call it remote templates. And remote templates, there are many issues with remote templates. One of them is obviously they are not local, they're remote, right? So you cannot reference them directly. You have to download them. So the first thing that we thought is, okay, we can probably use URLs where you can provide the URL of a template and you can download it, which we may add it. But then we thought, okay, maybe just relying on npm will be better, because there's another problem with remote templates, is that we don't know what the dependencies of these templates are going to be beforehand, right? Depending on the template, you might require one package or another that is not in the generator itself. So templates will need to have a package.json for those dependencies. So taking the opportunity that they need to have a package.json, we decided to leverage npm. So right now they're not installing remote templates. It's just installing what it finds in a specific directory. If it assumes that there is a package.json file, so now it's required for the templates. And the idea is to start growing from there, right? To even be able to reference a remote template on a URL on npm package or whatever, right? So and go forward as well with filters, with the hooks, for instance, that we found ourselves in different templates repeating the same code for filters and hooks. So we can probably publish these hooks and filters as packages themselves, and the generator will take care of installing them, because they will be dependencies of the template, right? So yeah, we're in the process of moving these things out. So sorry, Michael, because I think every time you jump into the code, you find that your code is not compatible anymore. but yeah,
that's okay. I mean, that only happened once so far today. So, and I fixed it. It was easy to fix. So
okay.
I'm back up and running. So I'm okay with that.
So I promise it shouldn't take take so long from now. Like there are a few there will be a few breaking changes more, and then I think we will be ready for launching probably with something else. With some.
So does that mean I should move? Should I move my template to its own Git repo then?
Not yet. If you don't want it, it's fine.
Okay.
Don't do it now, because then there's no way to find remote templates.
Yeah. Right.
Not yet. So we need to add discovery and all this stuff, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
I think if we're going to reorganize it all, I think this came up a couple of meetings ago, and I can't remember what we said about it, but there's documentation, like a documentation for my template ends up showing up, of course, in the generated project. And I don't necessarily want it all showing up there. I mean, I guess there's ways around it with the config file to say what's included or not, but maybe there should be a standard way to have one file that's just instructions for the person using the generator that is separate from the generated README file that goes with the generated app.
Yeah, so far, the way we're doing this, for instance, if you go to the Node.js template, you'll find that we have two package.json files. One is preceded with double underscores, and it's because one is the package.json of the template, and the underscore package.json is the resulting one, and then we have a hook that will rename this to package.json right after the
I see.
finished. So we can probably follow the same approach for now. Like you have underscore readme .md, and this one will be the readme of the generated code, of the final code, and the readme.md will be the instructions for using the template, right?
Oh, okay, that works. Okay, good.
So that's actually that was the reason why I introduced hooks, because I needed to rename files after the code was generated. So,
right. Okay, I'll do it that way then. Good.
So Jonas, I think maybe want to say something. I don't know.
Yeah, you pretty much covered it. I mean, yeah, I actually don't have anything to add to that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Then we were going into the defining the issue, right? Because if there's no objection, and I think it's good direction, it's only a matter of coming up with the solution of this discovery of the templates. In the past I was using Yeoman. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. I'm not sure how they solved it, but I think they have some kind of discovery or registry of the template, so it's easy to choose from the registered ones.
They have a registry, as far as I know, and I think they're using it from the CLI and from a website as well. And I think it's the same API, so it's a registry behind an API. So we can probably provide something similar, and not just for templates, but for other stuff like, I don't know, like other reusable stuff like filters, hooks, and all these components, let's say, right?
Okay, so what's your proposal here? Because I would say because that's a lot of different ideas related here. Do we first draft a detailed issue with the a design, how we would see it? Like, is there a naming conversion for the repos? Is it only repo based or npm based or registry based or whatever? I guess that's the best way to go forward here, right? So clear draft of how we see it goes forward, like what's happening with the Node.js template, where it's going to end up, and how it's gonna.
So from my perspective is we could probably have a registry, but the registry will give us the name of the packages in npm, for instance, and then the generator will be able to auto install them, right? Fetch them and auto install them. So yeah, I will not impose any specific naming convention. Maybe for discovery, something that we could do is we can tell authors to add a label to a tag or label on the package.json. I think it was called label, right? Or tags, I don't remember. On package.json, where, I don't know, specific tag, like, I don't know, generator template or whatever. And so then we can just search npm and filter by this tag all the packages that has this tag on the package.json file. And that's how we find all the existing templates. That would be a solution. Does it make sense?
Or they would keep an option open for people if they want to move their template to the async API or inside the So like if someone has a custom template, they can just move it inside the org and still manage it, or maybe so that the AsyncAPI initiatives take care of it.
What do you mean? Sorry.
So if someone has a custom template in their own repo or somewhere, there could be a possibility that they can hand over it to the AsyncAPI. They can move their template inside.
Yeah, but that will be like totally independent of what we're talking here. It's like independently who's the owner of the repo or the package, right? Or who's taking care of the package. We will all follow this methodology, right? Even the existing packages, the existing templates will be placed in a different repo, maybe, or maybe in a mono repo. We will see. And but they will all be different packages, npm packages, right?
Okay, so they'll have to find these. They'll have to follow these guidelines anyway, no matter where they are.
Yeah, no matter you are part of the initiative or not, or it's your own custom template. We can just have, as I said, we can just have a specific tag in the package.json file. And we call the npm API and grab all the all the packages that has this tag, right? That could be a way. And then we can, yeah, of course, we can always have, I don't know, another way of highlighting the ones that are maintained by the community, let's say by the initiative, if you want. But not sure if this is a good idea, because then we will be giving more importance to what we're building than to what others are building, and maybe and that's probably not fair, right? Because probably some other people are providing better templates than we do, right? So yeah.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, if it's got the official stamp of approval, so to speak, then people will have more confidence that it's probably good. And like if there's 10 different Java generators and one comes from the initiative, that's probably the one to use. If I were going to find one.
One of the things that I already did as a starting point is publishing all the existing templates inside the AsyncAPI scope on npm. So whenever you want to install it, you have to install npm at AsyncAPI/HTML or / so you could say that this is an official one because it starts with at AsyncAPI, right? Because it's living inside the AsyncAPI scope.
Right.
So yeah, so that will be, we can sort by this, like first we can have a label, a distinctive there saying that this is official or whatever. But yeah. But then again, like I said, it comes with the problem that people are like, you're always giving priority to your templates instead of mine, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, instead of calling it official, it will be probably better to have like compliant or something like this, or have a test suite that will tell you how much compliant the template is with AsyncAPI, like a percentage or something. I don't know, or yeah, something that people can use to evaluate if this is a good choice or not. But let's see. I mean, that's something to figure out later, not now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think there's anything like a prerequisite that has to happen before we do it? Like, I feel like the moving hooks and filters like into packages, that's probably something that we should do before we do the separation. Or
yes, that's not explicitly needed. It will be like perfect if it's there, right? But something that needs to be done is, for sure, the code on the generator that will install remote templates, right? Instead of, right now you point to a directory or the name of the template. You specify where your templates are, but the directory of the templates, it should probably have additional support, not just for directories, but for registries, right? Like NPM registry or your custom NPM registry. Which that's another one. Like people will want to have private templates in their companies behind their private NPM registries. So yeah, for sure, we need to have the implementation of fetching and installing remote templates. That's it. And I will say that, yeah, before we split it, I will clean this mess with the filters and the hooks before it grows.
Anything in this topic, or we're jumping to another one?
Not from me.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is the something that popped up from Jonas as well. I think it was related to one of the PRs, probably on the generator. Somehow make sure that when we have some new template or changes in the template, that those functionalities are also covered in the example specs. So it's easy to also do the review and make sure that the feature that is added works fine. Did I get it right, Jonas?
Yeah, exactly. And it is in close relation to the test suite for the templates as well. I mean, it's just so when you create templates that you have, you know, your, what's it called, like what kind of features it needs to include, especially with the JSON schema. Like what we require as like, but this is more in the regard of the official templates. What we require as a minimum that it has to pass or has to generate or support.
But here, is it just, do we have to write it as a rule, or I mean, we don't have any test suite yet in generator.
No, so my suggestion right now would be to provide a file which contains all the possible what's it called, scenarios with JSON schemes. So for example, if we want to, for example, when my template that I'm developing, the TypeScript for Nats, so I have an AsyncAPI schema that I can test with. So I can ensure that I at least cover these different features that we have. So it's the same as we have the streetlight example file. So it's basically just that file that just needs to contain the most used JSON schemes combinations, basically.
Well, actually, with the streetlights file, I will actually like to go in the other direction, removing stuff from there.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's like we can probably create a different, like a dummy example where you have all, not all the possibilities that you can do or you can have with JSON schema, but a lot of them, like you mentioned, that will be perfect. And I will also take the opportunity to clean the streetlights example to keep it like minimum and easy to pick for starters. you know, for people starting with the spec, right? Because, and it was my fault that I started using the streetlights example as a bucket where I was putting everything like just to see if it works, and in the end it was like a mess to read this file, right? It was overly complicated, so I will just clean it. But yeah, I will probably go even further, like have a file that could be a JSON, an AsyncAPI file that could be called something like JSON schemas, JSON schema variations, whatever. And we have lots of schemas there, but lots with different possibilities, covering almost all the features that that JSON schema provides. So we can test our templates against them, right? Like Jonas said.
Yeah,
that will be perfect. And
Okay, I have to go, guys. Sorry to jump out early, but that'll be the norm from now on.
hold on, Michael. So at least,
Okay.
did we cover everything you need? At least?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Right. Bye.
Thanks for joining. Bye. So yeah, so what I was saying is that's for JSON schema, but that will be equally useful for other AsyncAPI features, like having multiple messages, having channel parameters, not having them, having server variables, not having them, and see how they render on HTML or Markdown, or how they render on TypeScript, NATS client, like Jonas was saying. That will be perfect to have lots of tests. And then I think the next step will be like using this output as a way to test that you didn't break anything, right? So whenever you're working on a template, or sorry, not on a template, whenever you're working on generator and nothing should change, you want to make sure that the HTML template, the Markdown, all of them still render nicely. And yeah, and then we don't break anything, right? But that's, if we separate templates to another packages, that's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit strange, but yeah.
But yeah, it would still be useful even when you have to develop tests that you benchmark against, or like you ensure that nothing changed.
Yeah.
So it will come in handy at some point anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's why
we're just going to provide a test framework for templates.
Yeah, basically.
Yes, exactly. At some point, we will just open this switch. Like it doesn't have to be AsyncAPI. It can be anything. So yeah.
But I second the idea that we should have a like really dummy YAML file, because when I was now working on this feature to support the variables, I only added the variable field, but I wished I could actually modify it more to have two servers, one with variable, one without, so it's much easier to test long term. But I didn't want to interfere with the streetlight too much. Okie dokie. So what's to be done? If we all agree, then for sure. That can be done, right? Easily. So we can, it's not a super complicated work to anonymize the current streetlight.
I will not call it like transform current streetlight, but more like separate or simplified streetlight, and start creating other dummy files, you know, with specific things that we want to test. One of them that it's always killing me whenever I do a demo is the traits. So usually for introductory level demos, you don't need traits. And Streetlight has traits there because I was using it as a test file, right? And so yeah, we could probably simplify it. Streetlights to have the bare minimum, and then start creating. We could probably create one file that's called traits, and then we have lots of traits there, different kinds of traits and things like this, right? And JSON schemas or just schemas or OpenAPI schemas, right? And see how they render, and RAML schemas, you know, all this stuff.
Okay, anything is missing in my notes? We should for sure document it. Okay, jumping to another one. No objections. So another one is, so I just recently I created this issue that it would be super nice to integrate AsyncAPI validator into the Node.js template. My main reason was because I recently worked with it a lot, like using it for RabbitMQ, for Kafka, and I was kind of missing that it would be really nice to show that I was able to set up everything, but then I was able, of course, to send over the wire whatever message, like that was not, of course, compliant with the spec. And it would be nice to have the validator in there. And Waleed,
Yeah, I have a question. One thing I'm doing in validator right now is maybe I should get like take it out. Is I'm validating the schema itself. If it's a valid schema according to AsyncAPI. So at that time, we didn't have this thing in the parser, but I think now we have. The parser can validate your schema also, right? According to the schema definition. So how I am doing is that I'm just comparing whatever schema you provide to the actual version, the version you mentioned in your schema, to the actual version of that AsyncAPI schema, and I use AJV to compare them both if they match or not. Maybe I'm not sure if I should take that out and I should use parser to validate if the schema you provide is right or not.
We don't validate like the message, the JSON, let's say the JSON message against the schema.
The whole schema. So if someone has this whole schema defined, we just want to check if it's a valid or not. If it's
what
valid,
do you mean by whole schema?
Yeah.
What do you mean by whole schema? The AsyncAPI document?
File. Yeah, the AsyncAPI schema.yaml file. If it's a valid file, according to the definition we have, so that it has messages, the channels, the server, like all the required properties as they should be defined.
So that's done now. Yeah, it's now provided. So if you use parser,
yeah,
if you use the parser, it will be validated. But then I wonder if it will be like double work, right? Because well, no, it's okay. It's okay. I was thinking that maybe it was going to validate twice, but no.
Or I want to do the validation on the data and on like a specific channel or message. I want to see if the schema is actually right or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't had a way, so I just started like get the whole schema file and validate it against the definition of that version of AsyncAPI. If the file is fine, if the whole schema is fine, then pick up whatever they want to validate against the message, the data. I can keep it. It's using AJV and simple comparison, but I'm also like I can take it out also if it's the parser is handling more better way or something. Other than that, it's pretty well. I updated it to version 2. Added the support for. I added the support for channels, and no, the channels was already there. The last thing I added was Wait, let me check what was it. The identifier. So like now we have this X custom key or a name of the message. So at that time we didn't have the name. So now we have name should be like machine friendly name of the message. And so I added those kind of options for user to pass. So if they can either use name or they can define their own key they want to use as when they pick a message.
So I recommend that you start using the parser because it's going to be easier for you, and and also not yet, but soon there is another issue where we will start adding additional validations that is not included on the JSON schema definition of AsyncAPI. You know, like we will validate further the document. Like I don't know. An example could be like the examples that we have on the message should be valid examples of messages, right? So in the message definitions, you have an examples key, right, where you can provide examples of your message. What if you don't provide a valid example?
Okay.
That's not validated in the JSON schema hyper schema. Right.
Okay.
So we will be validating these things on the parser itself, and yeah, and other stuff, not just that. I forgot what's in there, but
yeah. So that would be good. I will open a PR and start working on that. Also, I'll add you to for the review also. But I think it would be good. I'm also another thing I don't know is what this generator is doing for the Node.js generator. It generates just a simple API for Node.js to use.
It's like imagine you're developing services that connects to a broker. It generates a service.
Okay.
Then there is the other point of view, which is that.
What does it use for the routes?
It's using Hermes. It's a framework that I created some time ago, like 5 years ago.
Okay.
It's just it's like multi-protocol. It's like Express, but for messaging.
For messaging.
You know.
Yeah, I think I saw it. We talked about it before also. But I think this would be adding validator would be just 1 or 2 lines wherever is data is coming from there, just validate it first and then.
Yeah, it would be just a matter of using the library in a middleware.
That's in a middleware,
and placing the middleware before the route.
Yeah,
and middlewares work the same way as in Express.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, once you have it there,
I will look into it. I can also make a PR in generator and see where it fits, and I'll add you for review. Yeah, I can go with task. I saw it in this Zen Hub. There's a task for it, so I'll just pick it up and start working on it. I don't think that's a high priority thing, but right, I can just.
Sorry.
It's not something like high priority. It should be done within like weeks, or it can just.
Oh no! I mean, this is a nice to have. I will say, right?
Okay.
Right, Lucas? It's awesome you pick it up, so.
Yeah, I'll just pick it up and work on it. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is other than Lucas is asking for it, but yeah, I agree that it will be really good because even myself, when I'm in a conference or in a workshop or something, and I'm demoing, and someone tells me, "Hey, I'm sending whatever I want here," and it's it. Right? It doesn't validate anything. It will be nice to have validation there in place, right? So yeah, and it should be straightforward. So it should be. I mean,
it will be. Yeah, I'll also see if I can add some.
I mean, what I have on top of my head, it will be easy. But who knows? Maybe you start investigating and you find that it's not that straightforward.
We'll see. Let's keep the hopes high.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, awesome. Thanks again. So 2 last topics. And one is, so it's pretty straightforward. We just need your opinion on the setup. So we there's already Stalebot running for some repos. I don't remember which ones.
Yeah, I guess.
What?
I think it's only AsyncAPI repo.
Only AsyncAPI.
I think.
So we would like to have like the review of stale issues and PRs on all the repos. Yeah, basically to have a mechanism to regularly review all tickets, all the issues, to make sure that they really should stay there, to not have really old stuff that is only confusing community. So those reasons, I think I described them nicely here, but I think it's pretty obvious why this functionality is needed and why it's one of the known one of the first actions that GitHub did for GitHub Actions is to take care for stale issues as well. And the challenge with this is actually that I also know from my my previous project that I was working on, and we had stale tickets and we were using ZenHub. The issue is that ZenHub, when you have closed issues, it does not, because ZenHub is a view of multiple repos you can have in one view, so they probably secure themselves from the load they can get. So the closed column is only showing issues that were not that are not older or of something, or that were not closed after some period of time. So it's pretty limited column. You don't see all the. It's not possible to see all the issues there. So having a simple, most recommended setup that you have stale for 60 days and then close after 7. That's, I would not recommend it, because like in my previous project, we had to solve it in this way that we, for stale tickets, we had to go repo by repo to check stale tickets. So my proposal would be that we do such a setting that a issue or PR gets a stale label after 60 days of no activity, and then closure is after 30 days. It's 30 days because it sounds like it's a lot, like stale ticket has to wait a month to get closed. But I'm taking into account that we are not many. There are holidays, people are sick, people are dying, and different reasons. So it's safe. And this setup 60/30 makes it safer to still use ZenHub as a one view to list those stale tickets and react to them. Do you see any problems here in this 30 days? How is it called now when you have coronavirus and they lock you in a room?
Quarantine?
Quarantine, yeah. So I propose here 30 days quarantine for an issue.
Just put 40 days there, man, just to make it funnier. and remove stale by quarantine. You know.
And maybe make it 28 days. You know, there was this horror movie 28 Days Later. Not sure if you know it. Pretty good horror about zombies. So maybe 28. Okay, so I'll jump into implementation then. And then we will have to start regularly looking into those old zombies. The second one, the last topic on the agenda is just ask you on your opinion. So we, on the AsyncAPI repo, you see this sponsor button, and we also have donate button on the website. So I would like to make sure that we have those buttons all over on all the repos. And do you have any, I mean, so there's also this kind of alliance between GitHub sponsors and Open Collective, but it's still in some kind of beta, so we can only add ourselves to waitlist. But Do you have any other ideas how else we could, on the repos and the website, advertise the donation? Because I was actually, when I was investigating GitHub sponsor, I ended up going through this, which is, I thought I'm signed in. No, browse.
Jobs.
They have a bug on the UI. I can see. It was saying that there are 600 stars on the repo and 600 people watching. It was the same number for watching and stars on every repo. So yeah.
I counted. So, and I was exploring this one as a additional possible donation idea, so that you have actually an issues. You can, like, a person can donate development on a given issue, like to somehow rise priority. But I was like, that's something for a discussion. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I never used it before, never actually knew about this approach before. Did you face it in the past? Do you know?
I've seen it in the past, but I never been part of it or anything. I never participated there. But also, adding to what Lucas said, I think it would be great for us as well to get back to the community, offer back to the community. Like probably we could be donating some money to people taking care of some of the issues, right? Like, so probably we could be donating ourselves as well, right? From the sponsorship money. So yeah.
One thing would be is that maybe reach out to people. So my company, maybe they would sponsor some amount, but I would like if someone like friends or someone can reach out to them. I can give an email from a team lead from my company, and can send a like an email that we are using it, and maybe they can look into sponsorship. So I think it would be good, because once my team lead was interested in, but it never got off and never got the time to say. So, but just I think in initiating a conversation with the companies who are using it might be a good start.
I'll then contact you after the meeting.
Yeah, sure. That I will be happy for that.
And about the issue hunt, because I'm Polish guy, so Polish guys are from this, communism, and we were pretty long under communism. So we are always, we've learned to obey rules. So I'm always, whenever I'm thinking about some solution, I always have this approach, like old school approach, that if we do it, then people will not will bypass and do something different. And when I think about this issue hunt, I'm thinking, like, is it smart to enable it? Like, won't we face a risk that like current contributors, for example, they will prefer to contribute on specific issues only, and then they will not care about those issues that are really focused on sustainability of the community, like more generic issues than a feature issues.
Yeah.
And of course, I had this. I like in my back of my head, like, no, that's a bad idea. It's gonna be broken, etc. And is it just my Polish attitude here only, or do you think that it's a possible risk here?
I kind of agree with you, because if someone is interested in donation, I don't think they should care about some specific issue which they are facing, and the issue gets resolved and they're like, yeah, I don't want to contribute anymore because my issue is fixed. I don't care. So could be, yeah, maybe we could lose some of the people who are now still a contributor if we go this way. But on the other hand, it could be maybe you can gain more people, because people would see that, yeah, this is something I'm really impacted by, so I can contribute to something specific to the issue, rather than a whole. I don't know. I think it's something we have to decide, and we have to drive that. If you wanna contribute, just contribute to the whole initiative, and then we'll use our resources well on the right places wherever needed, rather than let people decide where they want to put their money or donation. So it can go kind of like create a competition between issues and people, and what they are supporting and what they are not, and what's so. People could also say, yeah, you're working on this issue because I see that some big company or someone is donating a lot of money for this issue, but you don't care about mine one because I cannot donate. But it's for that person, it's same important as for the other one. So I don't think it matters for us if someone is donating or not. All the issues are, we decide on the priority, and we develop them no matter if there is a donation for it or not.
Yeah, I agree. But just one thing we'd like to mention is, I think it shifts the value of contributing from something I'm really interested in to money. You know, so it's like contributors will be driven by the money, not by the how cool will it be to have this tool that will help me on my daily tasks or in my company or whatever, and people will start focusing more on money. That's my perception, right? So, and I think if we switch the motivation to only money, let's say, it's a bad bet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like once we will get contributions from people that don't have or they need money for some reason at some point, but once they have money, they don't care anymore, because it's like, or if you don't offer enough money there, they will not care anymore, because like, fuck off, I'm not going to work on this, I already have money, you know. It's like or this is not enough money. So yeah, it's like it's a double-edged sword for sure. Maybe the way we can do it, I think Open Collective was doing it in another way, but I'm not sure. I have to check. The other way could be like, we offer money for specific issues. Instead of people donating money for the issues, we offer this money, right? And we offer a lot of money for a specific big issue, right? So it's not like you see in there, $40, $10. No, it will be like, I don't know, like $1,000 or 1,000 euros, right? But it will be for something, for a work of 1 week or 2 weeks, right? So I mean, a work of one or 2 weeks full time, of course. So, or almost full time. So yeah, so at least you get some money, but because you worked on or you solved a very specific big issue, right? That would have probably been an accumulation of multiple issues if we didn't offer money. For instance, an example I could offer here is we need to create a registry for the extensions, right? We don't have time yet, but we would like to work on that. We can take some money from the sponsorships and offer $1,000, $2,000, and you get the registry done and working, right? With the API, with everything, right? So it's like it will be a full project, right? That could probably work, right? And I'm saying this because I feel sometimes that I was feeling that I could be giving back to the community some of the money that I was earning because of AsyncAPI, but what I was thinking in hiring someone full time in the beginning, and now again because now you're full time, Łukasz. So my feeling is that that will not be sustainable, right? So now it's sustainable with you right now, right? But if I had to hire another one, it will not be sustainable. But for specific tasks, like I can probably have a budget for this task, this huge task, which probably is a bunch of tasks together. It's like a package, right, of tasks, and you can take care of this, and it's like a reward for contributing, right? So for people that are usually contributing often, we give them back, like as a way to reward their contributions, right? Don't know. Just I think this could be one way that could work for some people that still most of us are working full time on a job, or like Jonas, he's studying and in the job, so he's doing both. So yeah, hiring full time is not a possibility unless we have the money and they want to work with us. But it's neither one or the other. We don't have the money to hire another one yet, and it's really difficult to convince someone to quit job and join us, right? So that's like an intermediate step. You can give them per task instead of hiring full time, but not like I will not do it like this, like for everyone to put money on issues, because then that will switch the motivation to money, not to sustainability, right, of the project. So yeah, that's how I see it. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Fran. And I also think it's just maybe something that just have to be tried out and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. Because as you all pointed out, there's pros and cons for just about every option that you can take. And it's not specific for like for us, might not be issue hunt might not be the perfect fit when it is for others. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of discussing what might be the best option and then just try and jump in, maybe.
Yeah. Cool. So I don't know how you want to proceed with this, Łukasz. You want to try issue hand? You want to try a more safer or conservative way, and we do it manually, like we just ping people manually that often contributes and offer them some to take care of something, and we'll pay something for this. I mean, I'm fine with both. We can even try both together, but
exactly. So I like to try out things, and I hope that, I mean, I didn't check fully the functionality of issue hand. I hope that when you enable it for a repo, you can actually pick the issues. Not all of them are showing up, only the specific ones. So let's just first let's try to identify such issues like, I don't know, Go template for the generator, or some issues that we know that on our own we will never probably find time for it because there are other priorities, but maybe others who are not feeling themselves as a community member, but they have knowledge and they can help us out. Maybe they will jump into the issues.
Okay, yeah, let's try out. For sure, you can pick up which issues you want to have there.
Okay.
To hand. It's not that you can choose whatever you want.
Okay. Then I'll make a note. Anything else, guys, that we did not cover? We're 5 minutes past, I think.
No, I think it's from my side. I think it's great.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add, I think.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Jonas, for staying that long.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, thanks for
I'm
joining.
tired.
Let me stop recording so that we can.
Oh no, I wasn't waiting for that. Like, hey man, stop it! Stop it!
Stop it! Okay, so this is now behind the scenes, people. Bye.